Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are looking at how to write a fire description. What do you think would make a good success criteria for a fire description? So we've got some top tips in terms of how to write a fire description. First of all is to use ambitious vocabulary. So that means using highly descriptive words. Secondly is to use your five senses. So think to yourself, what can you see? What can you hear? What can you feel? What can you taste? And what can you smell? The third point, use imagery and figurative language. So that includes using language techniques such as similes, metaphors, personification. Zoom in to specific details. So focus on a certain object or area of the picture and provide detailed description. And finally, don't tell a story because you are writing a description, not a narrative. Number one, use ambitious vocabulary. So for you to write a fire description, one of the most important things to do is to use ambitious vocabulary. So find alternative words for the following dull and boring descriptive words. So if you use the words like good, these words are banned. The word bad is also bad and banned. The third one, boring, is banned because it's a boring word. Nice, okay, is also bad, and dark. So these words, as you can see, will put people to sleep. As mentioned, we want to make sure our answer is fire. So you need to make sure you use alternative synonyms for these words. If you're unsure about these or any synonyms, we will be doing a series in terms of how to improve your vocabulary. So please make sure you look through the thesaurus to help enhance your vocabulary. Number two, in terms of how to write a fire description, using your senses. So think about your five senses. So they include what you can see, what you can touch, what you can smell, what you can taste, and what you can hear. So I've got some examples to sort of quickly go over. So in terms of seeing, like a fiery red fist, the Ferrari punched its way past our aging Toyota. So here, I've started off with a simile, like a fiery red fist. The Ferrari punched its way past our aging Toyota. So that description, of course, tells us that it was traveling extremely quick and fast. The second is our sense of touch. The open window allowed a cool spring breeze. Okay, allowed a cool spring breeze to caress my cheeks. Okay, so it's as if the wind, okay, the air, it was caressing the cheeks. So again, that's something that you can feel. The third example is smell. So what can you smell when you're describing? An ancient clunker of a school bus spluttered along in front of us, spewing out nauseous black clouds of exhaust. So if you can sort of imagine it, black clouds of exhaust, it will make it very difficult for people to breathe. And of course, the smell of it would be unpleasant. The fourth one is taste. So what can you taste? The bitter taste of the pre-trip travel sickness pill still clung to the back of my throat. So again, think to yourself, what can you taste in the picture? Okay, use your imagination and bring it to life. And finally, heard, the screeching siren of an ambulance forced us to pull in and wait till it passed. Think about what can you hear. So screeching siren here, you can already tell it's loud sounds. Okay, so these are some of the top tips in terms of how to write a fire description. Always remember your five senses. Number three is using imagery and figurative language. So as mentioned before, so that includes using similes, personification, metaphors, pathetic fallacy, alliteration, rhetorical questions, etc. Imagery is using words and phrases that evoke emotions, okay, and create a picture, okay. It's in the word imagery, so it creates an image in the reader's mind. So when you look at a picture, you should be able to picture a range of ideas. Number four is to zoom into specific details. So as you can see from the image here, we have different parts of the image which we can focus on. So for example, in paragraph 1, you may want to focus on the mountain itself and the clouds. Paragraph 2, you may shift onto the land and the trees. Paragraph 3, you may move on to a focus on the water or the lake. So zoom into specific detail and transition from one paragraph to another. So that's one advice I would give when writing a fire description. The next tip is to zoom into a different section. So what you may want to do is split the image into frames. So as you can see this image, I would recommend splitting it into 6 squares. So you may want to decide to describe from the top left and go across, or you can go from the bottom all the way up. So it's up to you. You can describe it in frames. So if you imagine this in 6 squares, you describe it in frames. So for example, if we split it here, 1 and then, yeah, so that would be 1, that would be 2, that would be 3, 4, 5 and 6. So paragraph 1, you focus on what can be seen here. Paragraph 2, paragraph 3 and so on. Okay, that's an easy and simple way to write a description based on the picture. Moving on, another top tip in terms of how to write a fire description: don't tell a story. So in terms of writing your description, I've provided an example to help you all. So instead of telling, so he sits on the couch holding his guitar, which is quite boring and it's not exciting. There's nothing wrong with that sentence. It gives the reader some basic information, but it doesn't create an image. And remember, as mentioned before, we want to create an image in the reader's mind. Compare that sentence with this. So we're transitioning from telling to showing now. His eyes are closed and he's cradling the guitar in his arms. Okay, look at the word cradling here. Okay, like a lover. It's as if he's trying to hold on to something that wants to let go. Okay, so this clearly shows you the guitar is something that's dear to him, something that he really cares about. This is more effective compared to telling because it's evocative and it makes it interesting. So the second example takes that basic information and paints a picture with it. And a grade 9 response is doing that. It will paint a picture. It also uses figurative language, in this case the simile cradling the guitar in his arms like a lover, to help create an image. So if you're cradling the guitar, you're holding it with your arms gently, okay? And it shows you his love and care for the guitar. So don't tell a story, show it. So some of you may have heard of show not tell. It's that same principle within this slide. And finally, I've written a model descriptive paragraph based on the picture which we've looked at previously. So it reads the following. So I've used all the strategies in terms of how to write a fire description. So it begins, I am completely alone up here. I realize as the overwhelming sound of silence engulfs me. So as you can see here, I've used alliteration. So I'm going to highlight in yellow, as you can see, engulfs me. So I'm saying the silence has taken over. Okay, it's tranquil. Okay, there's a tranquil atmosphere. When I gaze down, okay, look at the word gaze. When I gaze down into the water of the lake, my own reflection stares back at me. Okay, can your reflection stare back at you? No. So I've clearly used personification here. Only slightly contorted by the light ripples. So my reflection was slightly obscured because of the reflection, okay, and also because of the light ripples. Colon, look at how I've used the colon for effect. Remember, whatever follows the colon is to show emphasis. The day is calm. The air is still. Okay, look at that serene atmosphere that I'm establishing. And the weather, although chill, is surprisingly welcoming. Okay, look at that. So this is a positive description of the weather. The high peaks of the mountains loom ahead, barely meeting in the middle and creating a gateway for the valley beyond. Okay, so look at that. Why is that effective? Okay, this is an example of using imagery because when you read that, the readers can picture that in their mind. I can see the trail of the lake as it heads uphill, only slightly obscured. Okay, obscured again, ambitious vocabulary, meaning it's uncovered by the light mist that curls around the slopes of the mountains in the distance. When summer breaks through the veil of spring, look at that. Through the veil of spring, the slopes will be mottled yellow. Okay, so mottled means like there will be blotches, okay, or patches. mottled yellow and healthy green, as the warmth encourages life back into the landscape. So there's a transitioning happening from spring to summer. Look at the sophistication in my description. The veil of spring. Okay. For now, everything is cast through a stale grey filter. Okay. So look at how I've concluded this description. Everything is about to change for the better. Okay. And this description shows evidence of the different strategies which we've looked at in this video. So what I would suggest right now is it's over to you. So use an image as a prompt for a piece of descriptive writing. You may start by mind mapping words, adjectives and ideas. And remember, you'll be aiming to include the following. So use ambitious vocabulary, use your 5 senses. So what can you see, hear, taste and smell? Use imagery and figurative language. Zoom into specific details and don't tell a story. So if you follow these 5 to 6 top tips, your answer hopefully should be a fire description. Okay, so that takes us towards the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like and share for more. Thank you.